Hey, what's going on everybody? Nick here. It has been a minute since I have made a YouTube video, so welcome back to the channel. You're probably wondering what video I am going to be making now. Well, I'm going to be making a brief review of a video game that I have just completed. Now, for those of you that are new here, I have been writing brief reviews over on my Instagram page for the last 2 years. Now, I love doing that. I love writing, and I love writing reviews of the video games that I've completed on and off stream. However, I wanted to do something a little different. One thing that I noticed is I like to go back and reread some of the stuff that I've wrote about all of the video games that I have completed over the past few years. However, I'm finding it rather difficult to see how I feel about those games when I just read what I wrote. So, I'm trying something a little different. I'm moving my brief reviews from Instagram over here to YouTube and doing a video diary, just talking about the video games that I've completed and the good, the bad, and yeah, just overall, just not writing. I'm not writing. Just telling you what I found that was good about the game and some of the things that I found bad about the game in a video format. So with the first brief review that I'm going to be posting here on YouTube is the very first video game that I completed here in January 2026, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Before I get into the bulk of my review, I just kind of wanted to talk about a little bit of how the structure of this review is going to be and just my initial thoughts on the game. So, I'm going to talk about the bad first because I believe that there are some good qualities about every single video game that I play. I don't want the video to be overtaken by all of the negatives, rather the positives from each game, even if the game was bad to begin with. Lastly, before I get into the review, I'm going to leave a huge spoiler warning right here for those of you that have not completed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Turn away because there are just a few spoilers in this review. So if you don't want any spoilers, then unfortunately I'm going to have to see you later. But yeah, so there's your spoiler warning now. Just letting you know, making sure you guys are safe. Other than that, enjoy the review. At its core, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was a fun game. I enjoyed it at times. However, since it was part 2 of a 3-part remake trilogy, this one just did not hold my attention as much as part 1 did. Before we get on to the negatives of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I just wanted to talk about one thing. These reviews are all subjective. My review is subjective. Just because I may or may not like a video game and you like it doesn't mean that my review is bad, and it doesn't mean that it could be good. All reviews are subjective because they're just my opinion. So if you don't agree with me, that is totally okay. I would love to hear your guys' comments below because I would love to hear your guys' experience because maybe it could sway me a little bit. Additionally, full disclosure, I have not played the original Final Fantasy VII. So this review is just based off of the remake trilogy. I know, I really need to play the original Final Fantasy VII. Maybe if this video gets 1,000 likes, maybe it could happen in 2026. I don't know, but only you can make that possible. Now, let's get into the review. First up, the bad. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was a fun game. I enjoyed very few aspects of it. The first major negative point for me was the pacing of the story was honestly not that great. I know that they split the original game of Final Fantasy VII into 3 acts for the remake trilogy, but it felt like there was too much fluff that made the narrative unappetizing compared to part 1 of the remake trilogy. I really enjoyed part 1 of the remake trilogy. I loved it so much that I replayed it 3 different times. So I have 3 full playthroughs of part 1. With Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think I'm only going to stick with that one playthrough. Next is the combat. The combat was okay, but the main issue that I had is that if you miss one dodge, you'll most likely get into an animation hell and you're just getting hit constantly by a field of enemies or a boss, which sucks since the fights are already so long to begin with. I can't tell you how many times I was in the middle of a boss fight or in the middle of just a field battle and I would get hit one time by an animation, and the next thing you know, all of the other enemies are attacking me at once, and I'm just constantly falling in a circle. Like, it's just a circle. I'm just tumbling. Cloud is tumbling on the ground and Cloud can't get up. There's no way that I can stop that from happening. And since these fights were so long, if I'm not mistaken, I streamed the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and the final boss was Sephiroth was almost 20 minutes. 20 minutes of that. It was awful, and I could not stand it. Next up is the minigames. Oh my gosh, there were so many minigames. I understand that you need to fill an open world game, but there are way too many minigames, which made my experience daunting at times. I know that open world video games are a common occurrence in most video games nowadays, and Square Enix needed to fill in that open world with stuff to do, and that's okay. But when you are encouraged to complete all of the other side objectives within each region, each minigame starts to become a little too tedious and a little overwhelming, to the point where when I was playing, I just said, you know what, I gotta move on, or else I am never going to complete this game. Which leads to my next point, the open world. Part 1 of Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy did a fantastic job of blending side quests, minigames, and main quests all in one game. I'm not sure what happened with Rebirth, but I am assuming Square Enix wanted to jump into the open world hype by having more stuff to do. Sometimes less is more, and in this instance, I think Rebirth could have been amazing if they just stuck with the same format as Part 1 of the remake trilogy. Now, I know that a lot of the bad seems like it makes it a bad game. However, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth isn't necessarily a terrible game. I didn't have many good things to write about this game, but there were a few, and these very few were major redeeming qualities for this game. First being the music. The music saved this game for me. When I was frustrated with the game's pacing or dealing with dumb boss fights, I was constantly brought back down to earth with this incredible score. I found myself listening to the music in specific regions because it was so relaxing to my ears. Since there were so many video games, or not video games, but many mini games throughout the game, it was nice to just kind of, you know, deal with that frustrating point, and then when you get out of it, now you're just hit with music based or themed within this region. And it was really relaxing because, God, this score is absolutely phenomenal. The story itself was also very interesting. I have more of a love-hate relationship with the story because I am not a fan of multiverse plots, but I am still interested to see how this updated version of the story will end. I found this multiverse plot to be super confusing at times, and even in the end, I was confused. Full disclosure, I actually needed to watch a story explained video in order to fully understand what the heck was even going on in this video game. Last but certainly not least of the good aspects of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is Queen's Blood. Those of you that have played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about with Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood could be the best thing ever or the most infuriating thing to exist. I think Square Enix has something good going on here. I think that it could be cool to see them expand upon that one minigame, just that one, but maybe make it an official mobile game, or maybe even a desktop game on Steam or something like that. I really enjoy Queen's Blood. I think Queen's Blood would be a fantastic game for Square Enix to capitalize on. I know that there is a fan-made version of Queen's Blood online, but I would love an official one where you can purchase your own packs, build your own decks, play against your friends, play against other people, and maybe even do some tournaments or something like that of Queen's Blood. Honestly, one of the best minigames that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has to offer, and if it's so successful, you might as well just capital on it, Square Enix. In conclusion, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has some clear flaws, but these flaws could easily be fixed in the final part of the trilogy. Will I be playing this game again or getting the Platinum Trophy? No, I never want to subject myself to this game again. However, I did find myself enjoying the game from time to time throughout my playthrough, and it did leave me excited for the final part of this remake trilogy. I think this game would be fantastic for players that would only buy 1 or 2 video games per year, because this game simply has 120 plus hours of content, which is amazing for someone that would only buy 1 or 2 video games for the year. Unfortunately, that's just not for me. With that review, I want to leave off with a rad score here. My official rad score is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a 6 out of 10, which leaves my January total to 1 and my overall total for 2026 a 1. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my brief review of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hopefully I can do something like this again. So if you guys did enjoy that video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, make sure to turn on notification bell, and a new thing, hit that hype button. There should be a hype button down there. I know that hype button makes the videos bigger, or that makes them more out there for other people to watch. If I have that, hit that hype button. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps me out significantly. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed it, please do all of the stuff that I mentioned. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.